We had 3 biological children, and we had always talked about adoption.
At 4 days old, we were in Chicago to adopt him. He already had a pacemaker in at that time.
We had also said, God, and I don't want any health issues. Jason and I, no health issues. We're actually praying for this. But God, I think he was like, that is not what you want at all. You want a Landon, so you do. You want this little French-Canadian, Puerto Rican child who has a heart issue from birth. His personality, he was so full of life.
You put it on the presents of the kids as the shape of a heart. And then the heart will magically appear.
His heart issue was an issue called long QT syndrome. And it's an electrical problem with the heart. The heart just gets chaotic. It would go crazy, and he'd need to be shocked in order to bring it back into a normal rhythm.
And then he continued to go in and out of the hospital over the next 10 years.
I remember my mother coming into my brother and I's room and saying, Landon's back at the hospital, the emergency services had to take him away, your dad's with him.
They were adjusting medication and they were doing what they could to control the long QT syndrome. And in the end, it killed him 4 days before his 12th birthday.
Oh goodness, and when Landon died, something broke in me because Landon and I, we were incredibly close. He would look at me like I had all the answers. I struggle with God. And I think the one thing that got me through it and what I would share, God is good all the time. And when the times came that I couldn't even hang on anymore, he held on to me. God held on to me through the nights when I felt like, whew, God, I can't do this. This hurts too much.
So Chaka and I grieve differently. And I'm also someone who tries to fix things. And so when Chaka grieves, I try to figure out what do I need to do to fix it. And it took me down a really bad path. Like it's not my responsibility or my role to say, hey, I'm gonna make Chaka happy. God will God will do that. God is the only one who can do that ultimately. But what I can do is I can love her, I can support her, I can be a good husband, I can be a good father.
There's Landon Bennett.
Taking pictures?
No, actually I'm just doing video.
Landon's life was just an example of God at work, just overall. I think that without God interceding, Landon would have passed away when he was still a baby. He had a monumental impact on all of our lives individually.
I hate that that's what it sometimes takes for us. It takes trauma, or it takes hardship, it takes pain and suffering. But man, in that pain, when he meets you there, he doesn't cause it, but he's like, I will be there with you. The only thing that mattered at the end was that he knew Jesus, that we got him ready for that. My perspective has changed, that the little things are little things, and the eternal things are the things that you should invest in. Whether or not it gets better does depend on your definition of better. If by better, does God restore, your family as it was, or the situation or whatever as it was, then sometimes that can't, that's beyond restoring on this side of heaven. But if by better, do you mean, do you smile again? Do you laugh again? Is there joy again? Is there purpose in your life? Are you still loved and able to love? Yes, it gets better.
We do events on his birthday. We had a knockout tournament in honor of him where we all played knockout and ate food and had extended family and really good family friends there. And so that was kind of a way that we honored him.
I do not question the goodness of God. Not anymore, but it did. It took a while to get here. And in the process, what I've seen is God's faithfulness. He was faithful to what he said he would do, to his promises in the Bible. You know, I won't leave you or forsake you. They're true. And there were times through the process in the next adoption, you know, adopting Ezra, that I wanted to quit because I thought, God, this is too much. And Ezra was the blessing, the help from God to help our family to almost get kick-started again. There is so much evidence in my life that God is good and that he has rescued and he has saved and he has done and continues to do everything that he promised he would.